Hey there, I'm Stuart Webb, your fellow businessman, entrepreneur, podcaster and CEO with another one of my one-take video blogs where all the mistakes will stay in. Today I want to talk to you about how you can inspire accountability in others, and you can't do that until you model it yourself. Whilst working with leadership teams, I discovered 3 really powerful steps that can elevate the performance of others. So let's talk about those steps. Let's call them the 3 steps of accountability. So remember this. Step 1, don't blame. Step 2, look for the source of the problem, starting at your own desk. And step 3, engineer the solution. This sequence of steps has an almost magical effect on other people's behaviour, and it helps in getting better results. These habits work not just for CEOs and managers, but for everyone who's trying to help others be better, whether as a parent, a co-worker, or a volunteer. When was the last time you blamed someone for something? How did it work out? Probably not well. That's because our brains interpret blame in the same way they interpret a physical attack. Blame triggers the fight or flight response, which shuts down our problem-solving abilities. When I get angry at my son because I'm not able to motivate them, I'm actually impairing his brain function. Researcher and Dr. Amy Edmondson studied hospital teams to see how culture affects people's willingness to report medical errors. She expected that high-performing teams would make fewer mistakes, but to her surprise, they reported many more errors. Why? Because when people are blamed for problems, they're more willing to admit their mistakes and learn from them. In cultures of blame, people hide problems or point fingers at someone else. No one takes accountability if they think they'll be blamed for it. Blame destroys teamwork, problem solving, learning, and initiative. All things you want your teams to have. Blame kills accountability. So what should we do instead? Okay. Let's start with our next step, step 2, and that's look in the mirror. Most of us are really good at noticing other people's mistakes, but we're not so good at noticing how we contribute to problems. One time, my assistant helped me to mail out hundreds of very expensive marketing packages to prospective clients. 3 weeks later, absolutely no responses. That was unusual. So I checked just one of the letters. It read, "Dear Mr. Smith, insert company name here." Okay, she missed one of the variable fees in every single letter. Thousands of hours of money down the drain. Now, she felt awful and she said, "Oh, this is totally not my fault." And I was thinking, you're darn right, this is totally your fault. But then I looked in the mirror and I realised I didn't highlight any of the variable fees in yellow like they are in all of our other templates. Now, had I done that, she couldn't have missed it. Now, I'm not saying that every problem is my fault, but if I look closely enough at my problems, I can usually discover how my actions or inactions contributed to them in some way. This is a profound insight because if I can see my part in a problem, I can do something about it. So start by looking the next time you encounter a problem at yourself. How might you have contributed to this problem? I taught these principles to a construction company and then followed up a few weeks later to see how things might have changed. Project manager told me the following story. Our general manager is a total blamer, and team meetings usually turn into blame sessions. But the week after you taught us these principles, that meeting went very differently. When our general manager identified a problem, He was about to lay into the person who he thought was responsible. Then he stopped and he put his head in his hand for a moment, then looked up and said, "This is how I think I contributed to the problem." The mood in that meeting changed instantly. Then I saw something I have never seen before. Other people began raising their hands and saying, "No, boss, it wasn't just your fault. This is how I think I contributed to that problem." When leaders acknowledge their part in problems first, it makes it safe for everybody else to do the same. And if nobody else follows suit, then you've earned the moral authority to ask, "And how may you have contributed to this problem?" before others will allow us to hold them accountable. They must see us hold ourselves accountable. Now, what if the cause of your problem isn't what you think it is? Okay, step 3, engineer the solution. When bad things happen, our brains are hardwired to blame the person closest to the mess and ignore other causes. Fortunately, there's a fix. It's called systems thinking, which involves noticing how the environment and processes influence behaviour. Systems thinking emerged towards the end of World War II, when the US Air Force noticed that many of their planes were crashing without any mechanical problems. Their initial conclusion were that the pilots were at fault, so they sought out consultants to help them select less error-prone pilots. However, the consultants discovered that the issue wasn't with the pilots, but with cockpit design. The confusing placement of controls and similar-looking gear handles were causing confusion and leading to crashes. You can imagine, if you're used to a handle being in one place and then you move to a plane where it's in a different place, confusion arises. So those consultants suggested that by improving cockpit design, the number of crashes could be reduced. The US Air Force then engineered the solution by simplifying cockpit design. Similarly, by looking at the overall system, instead of blaming others, we can engineer a solution so that everyone has the information they need to take the initiative. Instead of asking, "Whose fault is this?" we should ask, "Where did the process break down?" This approach can help you bypass the blame game and find sustainable solutions to those problems. Remember, you can't inspire accountability in others until you model it yourself. So the next time you encounter a problem, try following this sequence of 3 steps and observe how it changes your outcomes. Instead of blaming, look in the mirror and engineer the solution. Be the change that you want to see in others. Our world is in desperate need of people who take ownership of problems and solutions in our workplaces, our homes, and in our society. And the secret, as you model these behaviours, so will those around you. Okay, thanks for watching this short video. If you'd like some help trying to get these behaviours modelled in your workplace, contact us at www.the-complete-approach.com, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. I hope these videos have been helpful. If they have, leave us a comment below. Thanks for watching.